All right, everyone. We are joined today by Jake Condi, who is going to be our guest today on the Weight Loss Success podcast, where we don't necessarily talk about the whys or anything. We just want to know what somebody did to lose weight and kind of dive into their success story and see if there's anything we can gain from it. Um, Jake's a big hunter. I know that's a lot of the reason that he wanted to lose weight. And so, with that being said, here's Jake Condi. Is there anything you want to introduce yourself with?
You pretty much touched on it, buddy. That is my story in a lot of
All
ways.
right. So, sounds really good. So, I know you talked with me briefly right before this about what you did, but let's start with that. So, what was it that you did? I know you lost a good amount of weight. So, where did you start? How much did you lose, and where did you end up?
Oh, I started around 285, 286 range, and at the time, it was just kind of a low spot for me in a lot of ways. But I ended up hitting 186 was the target weight that I'd set for myself was to get down 100 pounds. Um, Knowing that at one point in my life that was about the frame I was at, and I really liked the weight. Um, but yeah, started about 185, 186, and got down. 285 to 286, and got down to 186 was the lowest I got.
That's awesome, man.
So,
So, full 100 pounds. That's
mhm.
pretty crazy. I mean, that's over a third of your body weight, it sounds like. How long did it take you to do that?
About 18 months, probably about 18 to 20 months, being honest. Maybe even 2 years, but it was about 18 to 20 months, I'd say.
Perfect. Awesome, man.
Yep.
Um, so that's a big thing for anybody to do. There had to be some sort of reason behind it. So what was it that really got you started on the journey, and why did you decide to fix your health?
For me, well, I my brother was initially the uh the stick that pokes the bear. He he says like if you want to lose weight, you better do it before you have a kid. And at the time, my wife was pregnant, and like I just at one time we were talking about it. And he's just like, if you're gonna lose the weight, do it now because it's gonna be a lot harder once you have a kid. And I said, all right, well that's fair. And there was a plenty of other reasons. Like I enjoy the outdoors. I enjoy being active and hunting and not being able to do what you like and you enjoy the most is really hard. Like just going up a hill, a flight of stairs, you're winded, your knees hurt, your back always hurts, you don't sleep really good. Like it's and you obviously you don't gain 100 pounds overnight. And for me, like I was used to it, so I don't remember what it was like to not. But I knew from hunting that kind of showed me. Like I used to be able to climb a mountain and not be winded and not have the issues that I had. Um, when you have to continue to go upsize in your camo, you have to buy bigger and bigger waist size. That kind of tells you really quick that you've gained weight. And like I wasn't happy with what I saw in the mirror. Like that was a big thing. Like I never really thought I was a very self-conscious person, but when you look in the mirror and you think like I wouldn't love me, like I wouldn't date me. That's not what I wanted. And thankfully my wife my wife did regardless, but like I
Sometimes
felt
love is
like she,
blind, right?
yes indeed, and I felt like she deserved better and I knew I could give her better. So that was part of it. And I wanted to be able to keep up with my kids. Like being able to run around and play and not be like, hang on, dad's got to take a breath was a big thing for me. So those were some of it. Like I could probably go on for a minute, but those were probably the big ones. A, I wanted to be able to hunt. B, I wanted to be healthy for my family. Um, and and C, I really just I wanted to be happy with how I looked personally. So I guess those were probably the big ones.
Well, it sounds like you achieved all those things.
Yeah.
I'm sure being 100 pounds lighter, it's way easier to get up the mountain and go
Oh, it's
enjoy your
it's
passions.
it's night and day. Like we've been hunting this fall has been really good. Um, I wear like I've done some training. We'll visit about more of that later, but just going out and putting on my hunting pack and all the equipment that I take with me, like it's a fraction of what I used to carry, what mandatory had to carry on my person. And I know my back and my knees certainly appreciate it. So yeah, it's been really good.
That's awesome. So, you perfect segue. You said we were going to talk about some of the training. So let's start
Mhm.
with, we'll start with training, and then afterwards we'll talk about nutrition and anything that you did
Okay.
there. What did your training regimen look like through this? How many days a week were you working out? What were you doing? Did it
So
develop over time?
okay, it did develop over time for sure. Obviously, you don't jump right into it at almost 300 pounds. It's kind of hard to do. Like you can't go run a mile. It takes like a lot just to walk a mile for those of that weight and heavier. Um, and for me, I kind of so a big thing for me was I really struggle with self motivation in a way or self accountability. And my wife and I both knew like even having her trying to help me stay accountable wasn't going to jive. So I had to look outward and get outside help. So I can't say I did this purely on my own. So I had help, and when I say when I refer to we, I refer to the people that I've had help me along the way. And so we decided that I was going to start. I went to the gym 2 days a week, and then try to do some cardio in between. Like I worked in construction, my life was a little bit more active daily at the time, and so we were able to kind of play that to help me. When I first started, we did a lot of more strength training. It felt we did a lot more like deadlifts and conditioning for my knees was a big thing right out the gate. Um, my knees were really didn't appreciate the added abuse when lifting that weight, including my own. So we did gym twice a week, and it was usually about an hour to an hour and a half, depending on the day. Um, and the cardio was simply just going for walks or rucks. Rucks are pretty much glorified walk, but you put weight on your back. And it was it was a lot at times. There were moments where it was just like I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to go do that. I didn't want to go up. I get off work and I just wanted to sit on the couch. I just wanted to lay down. I didn't want to do any of that. So having that extra motivation from outside was great for me in that respect. Um, and then as it evolved, it became more of an enjoyment. Like it wasn't just a task I had to do to accomplish like a checklist. It was something I looked forward to because I could start slowly and slowly see the benefits of it. Um, and being able to see the weight come off, but the strength increase, um, was astounding for me. Like it kind of blew me away. Like I knew in high school, like I could move weight, but as an adult, it was night and day difference. And that was really motivating in its own right. So
Awesome.
yeah, that
So
was
sounds like you kind of did 2 days a week, general strength training split.
yep,
You were able to hold on to a lot of your strength during it, which is really impressive for losing 100 pounds if you were able to get stronger during that. And then it sounds like you kind of went through and addressed some of the weaknesses,
yeah,
knee pain, back pain, things like that. And then it even also sounds like you were doing some training specific type activities, rucking, which
yep,
obviously hunting involves a lot of hiking with weight, especially if you're
oh yeah,
successful.
yeah, on the rare chance.
Yeah. So you were doing rucking and kind of life specific training is really what it sounds
Yes,
like.
yep.
And and that was kind of what you did there. As far as nutrition, were you one who counted macros or calories? Did you take an intuitive approach? What was your nutrition plan, or what did you follow, and how did that affect your goals?
Yeah, before we jump into that real quick, I just
Yeah.
want to make
Uh-huh.
the point. When I went into this, I never wanted to be that ripped, jacked person. I should make that clear for those who are in my similar state. Like I didn't want to be ripped. I wanted to be healthy. So for me, that's why you make the comment. I did targeted exercises for my life. I wanted to
Right.
be successful in my life. So it may not be the same for others. Like there's those that will run a marathon. I don't want to run a marathon. That's not my goal. I want to be able to climb a mountain. So I just for everyone out there
Yeah.
that listens, like do what you want to do with your life in that respect. So, but to the nutrition, for me, I love sugar. And the fats, the bacons, the cream cheeses, and it's still very much a big weakness for me. Um, so at first we tried the tracking and we did okay. Wasn't great. Like even from the get-go, I was not good at tracking. It's something I struggled with immensely. And I found myself, if it wasn't easy to do, I didn't do it. So I used barcode scanners. And if it wasn't in there, I was like, well, I don't want to freaking enter this information. Like that's dumb. So I'd kind of put generic information in, and sometimes I'd do it and sometimes I wouldn't. And that became very frustrating because it's hard to really pin the issues down because we all want to cheat. We all want to lie in some fashion about our health. Like, no, I didn't sneak 2 candy bars in the morning. No, I didn't do that. I did that, by the way. Definitely did that. Cookies, did that too. Now let's get away from the negative here. What I found really helped me was I got to the point where I listened to what my guts told me. So an intuitive approach, as you would call it, because for me, like everyone knows when you get full. Okay, well if you're full, then stop. That's your body telling you you need to stop. So you find for me, it was finding that point before I got there that really helped. But also, um, recognizing in the evenings. So how I would structure my day is I would eat in the morning, and that was pretty good. I love breakfast foods, so that was really good for me. But being mindful, you have to tweak it a little bit, right? You want to try to cut out the fats and the unnecessaries and get your protein and get your carbs, like, and then you find what can I eat for lunch? If you're working as I was at the time, I was in construction, like I'd said, I could get away with a little bit looser on the lunches. I probably would have been able to do it a little faster had I been more um how do I want to word it? More selective.
Disciplined.
Yeah, that's probably the better way to put it. Yep. So, um, going from lunch and then to dinners, like if I didn't maybe eat lunch, I'd splurge. Like I gave up dinners most of the time, and for me, it worked. It worked for me. This was how it was easy for me to know I would go to bed hungry in a way of putting it, and knowing that I had like right about here in my guts, if it felt empty, I was in a good spot, and my weigh-in was going to be excellent the next morning. So for me, it was an intuitive approach, to put it simply. I went intuitive because I hated tracking. I wasn't good at it, and it helped me learn what my body was telling me way sooner. Because like something that I wanted to shoot for was a lifetime change. Like I don't want to have a trainer forever. I want to be able to be dependent on my own self um, in my nutrition because like I want to live a healthy lifestyle. So the intuitive eating for me was the best route. And I know for others it is tracking, it is keeping track of those macros and micros even. So yeah, yeah. But intuitive
Hey,
was
but it
my
worked for
approach.
you, right? So if it
Yeah.
worked for you, that's what we're trying to get after.
Yep.
So just to kind of sum everything up, so it
Go
sounds
ahead.
like you were kind of caloric front loading, getting most of your
Yep.
meals in, even sometimes forgoing dinner if you had a big enough lunch and you still didn't kind of
Hmm.
quite feel empty, ending on empty, and then really just listening to your body, which I honestly
Yep.
think is the only long-term way of getting
Oh
things
yeah.
going. I've never seen someone track for their entire life, so I think
Ending on
intuitive's
empty.
great.
Yep. Ending on empty was by far, I would say, even if say I cut out the lifting, the exercising, which I wouldn't encourage that. Of try to do some sort of exercise. Anybody, it's healthy in any regard, any stage. But the nutrition part, the ending empty every day was, I feel, my biggest gain for losing weight. Was knowing that when I'd go to bed empty, it helped me mentally. It was hard. It wasn't easy. Like knowing like I cook dinner for my family, but I wouldn't eat. And so that was hard. But knowing that when I went to bed and wake up the next morning, when I stood on the scale, I know my number would be lower than the day before. That was a big thing mentally and and emotionally for me. So I'd definitely say if you can learn to leave end your day on empty, you're going to be doing all right.
Awesome. That sounds great. So we've kind of hit the main points. We hit nutrition, we hit
Yeah.
exercise. I know you talked a little bit about benefits as far as joint pain went. That got better. Was there any other benefits
Yeah.
that you saw as you lost weight that you'd like to share that you
Oh my
thought, hey, this
word.
was great?
I had so much more drive to go through my day. Like I wake up and I was excited to get after it. Don't get me wrong, like life has its changes outside of health that would affect that too. But the overall health of my day was so much better. I'd get up, I'd be able to go, like I had drive to go to the gym or go on a ruck or just be engaging with my family. That was a big thing for me was being excited to go home and not be like, oh my gosh, my kid's gonna want to play. I'm gonna have to find some energy. Like I had it. It was there. And that was huge for me. looking at hunting no longer as a I have to do this because I know I like it, but I don't want to because it's going to be hard, but being excited again to chase my passions. And it also opened doors for me. Like it expanded my avenues to go down in regards to I picked up photography, outdoor wildlife photography, which is something I never thought doing. Like it kind of helped me on a mental stage of I accomplished something hard, I can do more. If that makes any sense, it
That's
gave me a
awesome.
mental capacity that increased so I could handle more in a lot of ways, which sounds kind of silly, I guess, but for me it was a big thing. My job was very um mentally taxing. Like there was a lot that I had to take care of and learn at the same time. And then I also started my own photography business on top of that, and I accredit that in a big way to my successes in my weight loss because it mentally helped me grow as well.
That's great. That's really awesome. So, kind of last couple questions I always like to ask
Yeah.
people, and I'm going through is if kind of where you're going to be giving advice to other people. So, the first one that we're going to go on is it's always better to learn from other people's mistakes. So,
Mm.
looking back, what do you think was your biggest mistake when you were going about this that you're like, if I could redo it, I probably would try to avoid that this time?
God, there's a lot. There's so many to count. I would say one of them for sure is the justification. Justifying the little things. Like, oh, I can get away with that extra cookie in the morning, or I can go to dinner tonight. It's not going to affect me. For me, I can look at food and gain weight. So
Kind of an easy gainer.
very much so. And it is still a pain. It's still a struggle now, but getting away from the justifications and recognizing my own weaknesses in the whole grand scheme of thing. Like I know, like I had a food addiction. I still do in some ways. Like I love treats. Like I want to sit down and I want to get a cup of candy, of trail mix, of something. I want a snack. I want to always have something to nibble on. And getting away from that, especially in the evenings, was something I would definitely encourage someone to, if someone like me who's an easy gainer, don't justify the little things. Get away from that. Um,
Awesome. So
Definitely.
that
Yeah, I'd say the justification was probably one of the biggest ones, just justifying my weaknesses. So,
So kind of just changing that frame of mind early and really just
yeah.
learning how to take accountability instead of justifying and trying
Yep.
to, get them most out of all the little things. So, next question
Shoot.
is if if you were going to give someone advice who was about to start their journey, what would kind of be your one piece of advice with all the things that you've learned so far? You've lost 100 pounds, you fixed your knees, you fixed your back. Um, so I'm sure you have a lot of valuable information. What's that one thing that you would tell someone who is trying to fix their health?
Obviously, there's the cliche answers, I would say, like just get after it, just do it, just buckle down and do it. But realistically, that's hard for a lot of us. Um, so I won't be that cliche. I would certainly say look look deeper than just the surface in a lot of ways. Like mentally, this is the game. It's not a physical game, it's the mental game that is going to kick your butt the worst. Knowing that you're going to be hungry at the end of the day and being okay with it. Um, Recognizing your weaknesses and attacking them head on would be would be a big one. Like for me, like I knew I was going to have a hard time with being going to bed hungry. I knew I'm a snacker. I knew I'm like I love to barbecue. I love to cook for people, and recognizing like I needed to back off on a lot of that um for my own sake. Um get the help you need. Like if you have a hard time with being accountable, then reach out to somebody, whether it be a friend, whether it be a trainer, whether it be your spouse, and just tell her to him or her to hide the snacks. Like whatever you need to do, don't be afraid to take those, I wouldn't say extreme, but those harder steps to take. Um, being okay with missing family dinners when I'm hungry and if I go, I'm going to eat. Um, those were some harder things for me to come to terms with. But like I said, it worked for me. It was definitely a challenge at times, but I would definitely say come to term with the suck.
Just kind
Like
of embrace that's going to be hard.
embrace it, but then be willing to open up in a lot of ways, I guess. Like I had to change how I ate. Some people are like, "Oh, you're dieting." No, I just changed how I ate. Like I still eat
Mhm.
steaks. I still eat a lot of chicken. Um, I eat things I enjoy. If you're gonna eat pizza, don't be weird. Freaking eat pizza, but recognize you're gonna have a high weigh-in and be okay with that. Be okay
Right.
with the high weigh-ins. It's not the end of the world. Just make sure that you know what's gonna happen. Don't freak out, and then the next couple days, eat the way you're supposed to. And you can still enjoy those good foods. You can still enjoy a cup of ice cream in the evening with your family. Just recognize I'm going to have a high weigh in. And that helps a lot mentally. Because when you step on the scale, I'm like, why am I heavy? You ate ice cream like before you went to bed. Like
Right.
you purely ate the good stuff, as I like to say. So understanding your nutrition and being okay when you're gonna step away and step back in, but just don't make it a constant habit. So
Well, that's
that
awesome,
would
man.
be, yeah, that would be my big thing.
Perfect. That you just kind of have to know it's going to be hard. There's going to be times that you
Mm.
have to kind of embrace your weaknesses and learn how to live with them, and then also embrace when things maybe don't go your way. And instead of trying to
Yeah,
avoid it, just taking responsibility. It's like, well, I did this, so I know there was a consequence, and
yeah.
that's okay. I'm super proud of you. I think you did great. Losing 100
Thank
pounds
you.
is absolutely awesome, and I hope that it really sets a great foundation for your health and also for the health of your family and let you enjoy hunting and all those things. So hopefully you can keep putting mounts up on the wall like the ones you have behind you. And
Hopefully bigger, but yeah.
yeah,
That's
hey, it's not always about size, but so let's
the whole reason we're here. We're talking about
I
it.
guess that's fair. But yeah, I learned a lot from you today. Thank you so much for sharing your
Of
story, and
course.
hopefully our listeners have enjoyed it. That's kind of all for today. Is we just wanted to get a
Sounds good.
quick recap of what you did. So thank you so much for coming, and
Yeah,
I can't wait to talk to you again in the future. See you, Jake.
looking forward to it. Thanks.